top 10 hardest to contain SCPs. The SCP Foundation is known for securing, containing, and protecting. But in this video, we'll go over 10 anomalies that give the Foundation a very hard time at trying to do just that. A monstrous entity named SCP-682, also known as the hard-to-destroy reptile, resides in a containment chamber filled with acid. SCP-682 is a large reptilian creature with incredible strength, speed, and resilience. It possesses a profound hatred for all life and is known for its remarkable ability to regenerate and adapt to any form of damage, making it nearly impossible to kill. Dr. Kowalski, a seasoned researcher at the Foundation, has been assigned to SCP-682's containment team. Despite his vast experience with dangerous SCPs, Dr. Kowalski finds SCP-682 particularly challenging. The creature's unpredictable behavior and its ability to rapidly heal and evolve in response to any containment measures have led to numerous containment breaches, resulting in heavy casualties. One day, during a routine containment check, SCP-682 breaches its containment chamber. The facility goes into lockdown as the alarms blare. Dr. Kowalski, along with the response team, rushes to the scene. They find the creature rampaging through the corridors, its body having adapted to neutralize the acid that usually keeps it subdued. The team employs various tactics, from heavy artillery to experimental weapons, but SCP-682 proves resilient to every attack. It even develops resistances on the spot, rendering the weapons ineffective. The situation becomes dire when SCP-682 starts heading towards the surface, threatening to unleash its fury upon the world. In a desperate attempt, Dr. Kowalski suggests luring SCP-682 back to its chamber using a piece of technology that mimics the sounds of other SCP creatures, which SCP-682 instinctively hunts. The plan is risky, but it's their only chance. As SCP-682 follows the sounds back to its chamber, the team quickly repairs the containment protocols and floods the chamber with a more potent acid mixture. With SCP-682 recontained, the facility breathes a sigh of relief. However, the aftermath leaves the staff shaken. Dr. Kowalski reflects on the near disaster, realizing that as long as SCP-682 exists, no one is truly safe. The incident strengthens his resolve to find a permanent solution to contain or neutralize this indestructible nightmare. The story ends with Dr. Kowalski staring into the observation window of SCP-682's chamber, the creature's eyes glaring back with unyielding malice, a grim reminder of the ongoing battle between human ingenuity and an unkillable force of nature. The whereabouts of SCP-1048 are currently unknown, though it is still believed to be somewhere in Site-24. Subject is to be secured for containment, but any creation of SCP-1048s should be destroyed on site, unless further evidence warrants less extreme actions. No teddy bears are to be allowed in Site-24 to prevent any confusion or mistaken identity. Any object that resembles a teddy bear is to be reported to the security team immediately. This is not a joke. We have no idea what SCP-1048's full capabilities are. Who knows how many of the damn things are out there by now, says Dr. Carver. Description: SCP-1048 is a small teddy bear, approximately 33 centimeters in height. Through testing, composition of the subject revealed no unusual qualities that make it discernible from a non-sapient teddy bear. Subject is capable of moving of its own accord, and can communicate through a small range of gestures. The subject regularly shows affection to individuals in ways found endearing by most people. Affection is usually given in the form of a hug to the lower leg, but subject has also been observed dancing, jumping in place, and in 2 separate events it has even drawn childlike pictures for janitorial staff. All Foundation personnel that have interacted with the subject have responded positively to its affection, even D-Class with normally sociopathic tendencies. Attempts at direct communication with SCP-1048 have not been considered successful. Though it is capable of simple gestures to indicate a yes or no answer, it will often not react to lines of questioning concerning its nature or where it originated from. It is not known if this is because SCP-1048 simply does not know the answers, or because it does not want to answer. Though capable of drawing pictures, it has not used its art as a form of communication beyond showing affection, even when encouraged to do so. The more anomalous behavior of SCP-1048 was not observed until approximately 7 months after it was originally secured. It is hypothesized that the subject is able to construct crude replicas of itself using various materials, by a process that is yet to be observed directly by Foundation staff. Dr. Carver has suggested that SCP-1048 uses its endearing qualities to lull those around it into a false sense of security, allowing it to collect materials to produce these creations. Currently, there are 3 known creations of SCP-1048, designated SCP-1048-A, SCP-1048-B, and SCP-1048-C. The nature of these creations has been in stark contrast to SCP-1048's general behavior, as all have exhibited extreme violence towards humans. SCP-1048-A was discovered wandering Site-24, accompanied by SCP-1048. Subject resembles a teddy bear similar in size and shape to SCP-1048, but is made entirely out of human ears. Witnesses interviewed reported that it appeared SCP-1048 was giving a tour of Site-24 to SCP-1048-A. Dr. Carver was called to the scene along with a security team. The security team arrived first and attempted to contain SCP-1048-A. Subject emitted a high-pitched shriek that inflicted intense pain in the eyes and ears of everyone in a 10-meter radius. Ear-like growths immediately began growing on those within 5 meters of the subject, covering their bodies in less than 20 seconds. Every person afflicted with this symptom died within 3 minutes, resulting in the death of a redacted number of personnel, including the entire security team. Autopsies revealed the cause of death to be asphyxiation caused by an abundance of the ear-like growths manifesting in the mouths and tracheae of all victims. SCP-1048 and SCP-1048-A fled the scene before Dr. Carver arrived, and have not been contained since the incident, though sightings of both have been reported on multiple occasions. Shortly after this incident occurred, a researcher was discovered missing an ear. According to him, it was removed through unknown means while he was sleeping. No other victims of ear removal were found, so it is unclear if SCP-1048 obtained more ears from another source, or if it is capable of duplicating objects or materials. As the chaos escalated, the Foundation realized that SCP-1048 had created an army of these sinister stuffed abominations. They had to act swiftly to contain the situation. Teams were dispatched to locate and neutralize these creatures, but it proved to be a challenging task. What made matters worse was the realization that SCP-1048 had developed a sort of hive mind with its creations. They coordinated their attacks and seemed to communicate telepathically, making it difficult for the Foundation to gain the upper hand. After a series of intense battles, the Foundation managed to subdue and contain most of the anomalous stuffed animals. They were locked away in secure containment chambers, but the threat was far from over. SCP-1048 itself remained at large. The Foundation's researchers were left with a haunting question. What was SCP-1048's true purpose? Was it a sentient being with malevolent intent? Or was it simply a playful and misunderstood entity? These questions lingered as the Foundation continued its efforts to locate and contain SCP-1048. And so, the enigmatic tale of SCP-1048, the Builder Bear, continued to puzzle and intrigue the personnel of the Foundation. It served as a stark reminder that even the most innocent-looking objects could harbor dark secrets in the world of anomalies and containment. SCP-106 is to be contained in a sealed container, comprised of lead-lined steel. The container will be sealed within 40 layers of identical material, each layer separated by no less than 36 centimeters of empty space. Support struts between layers are to be randomly spaced. Container is to remain suspended no less than 60 SCP from any surface by ELO/YOD electromagnetic supports. Secondary containment area is to be comprised of 16 spherical cells, each filled with various fluids and a random assembly of surfaces and supports. Secondary containment is to be fitted with light systems, capable of flooding the entire assembly with no less than 80,000 lumens of light instantly with no direct human involvement. Both containment areas are to remain under 24-hour surveillance. Any corrosion observed on any containment cell surfaces, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to site security immediately. Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing KIA. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note: continued research and observation have shown that when faced with highly complex random assemblies of structures, SCP-106 can be confused, showing a marked delay on entry and exit from said structure. SCP-106 has also shown an aversion to direct sudden light. This is not manifested in any form of physical damage, but a rapid exit to the pocket dimension generated on solid surfaces. These observations, along with those of lead aversion and liquid confusion, have reduced the general escape incidence by 43%. Description: SCP-106 appears to be an elderly humanoid, with a general appearance of advanced decomposition. This appearance may vary, but the rotting quality is observed in all forms. SCP-106 is not exceptionally agile and will remain motionless for days at a time, waiting for prey. SCP-106 is also capable of scaling any vertical surface and can remain suspended upside down indefinitely. When attacking, SCP-106 will attempt to incapacitate prey by damaging major organs, muscle groups, or tendons, then pull disabled prey into its pocket dimension. SCP-106 appears to prefer human prey items in the 10-25 years of age bracket. SCP-106 causes a corrosion effect in all solid matter it touches, engaging a physical breakdown in materials several seconds after contact. This is observed as rusting, rotting, and cracking of materials, and the creation of a black, mucus-like substance similar to the material coating SCP-106. This effect is particularly detrimental to living tissues and is assumed to be a predigestion action. Corrosion continues for 6 hours after contact, after which the effect appears to burn out. SCP-106 is capable of passing through solid matter, leaving behind a large patch of its corrosive mucus. SCP-106 is able to vanish inside solid matter, entering what is assumed to be a form of pocket dimension. SCP-106 is then able to exit this dimension from any point connected to the initial entry point. Examples: entering the inner wall of a room and exiting the outer wall, entering a wall and exiting from the ceiling. It is unknown if this is the point of origin for SCP-106 or a simple lair created by SCP-106. Limited observation of this pocket dimension has shown it to be comprised mostly of halls and rooms with data expunged entry. This activity can continue for days, with some subjected individuals being released for the express purpose of hunting, recapture, data expunged. Due to the exceedingly difficult to contain nature of SCP-106, SCP is to be reviewed every 3 months or during a post-breach incident. Physical restraints are impossible, and direct physical damage appears to have no effect on SCP-106. SCP-106 appears to go through long periods of dormancy in which it will remain completely motionless for up to 3 months. The cause for this is unknown. However, it has been shown that this appears to be used as a lulling tactic. SCP-106 will emerge from this state in a very agitated state and will attack and abduct staff and cause gross damage to its containment cell and the site at large. SCP-106 appears to hunt and attack based on desire, not hunger. SCP-106 will attack and collect multiple prey items during a hunting behavior event, keeping many alive in the pocket dimension for extended periods of time. SCP-106 has no determinable limit and appears to collect a random number of prey items during an event. The inner dimension accessed by SCP-106 appears to be only accessible by SCP-106. Recording and transmission devices have been shown to still operate inside this dimension, though recordings and transmissions are very degraded. It appears that SCP-106 will play with captured prey and appears to have full control of time, space, and perception inside this dimension. In the event of a breach event by SCP-106, a human within the 10-25 years of age bracket will be prepped for recall, with the compromised containment cell being replaced and restored for use. When the cell is ready, the lure subject will be injured, preferably via the breakage of a long bone, such as the femur, or the severing of a major tendon, such as the Achilles tendon. Lure subject will then be placed in the prepped cell, and the sound emitted by said subject will be transmitted over the site public address system. SCP-106 will typically begin to gravitate toward the lure subject within 10 to 15 minutes after hearing the subject. Should SCP-106 not respond to the initial broadcast, additional physical trauma is to be administered to the lure subject at 20-minute intervals until SCP-106 responds. Multiple lure subjects may be used in the case of major breach events. In the vast, cold expanse of space beyond the reaches of our solar system lurks SCP-1548, known as the Harbinger Star. Initially observed as an anomalous pulsar, SCP-1548 defied all known astrophysical models with its erratic behavior and ominous messages. The SCP Foundation's astronomers first noticed SCP-1548's peculiar pulsation patterns, which did not align with any known celestial phenomena. As they delved deeper, decoding the pulsar's emissions, they uncovered a series of disturbing messages. SCP-1548's emissions were not random pulsar beams, but rather deliberate, coded signals. These messages ranged from cryptic threats to outright hostile declarations, all seemingly directed at Earth and its inhabitants. As the Foundation monitored SCP-1548, its behavior grew increasingly aggressive. The star began to move, altering its trajectory in a direct path towards the Earth. Calculations predicted a collision course with our planet, albeit in a distant future. This movement was not just a celestial drift, but a purposeful, controlled propulsion, defying the laws of physics as understood by humanity. SCP-1548 was no longer just a distant anomaly, it was a looming threat. The SCP Foundation, recognizing the potential catastrophic impact of SCP-1548, initiated a series of countermeasures. These included disinformation campaigns to mask the star's existence from the public and the development of contingency plans in case of SCP-1548's approach. Special research teams were assembled to study SCP-1548's communications, hoping to find a clue to its intentions and origins. Despite their efforts, the star remained an enigma, its messages a blend of hostility and cryptic riddles. SCP-1548 represents one of the most formidable challenges faced by the SCP Foundation, a threat not just to the physical world, but to the psychological well-being of humanity. The star's ominous messages have sparked debates among Foundation staff about the nature of SCP-1548's intelligence and its possible connection to other cosmic entities or civilizations. SCP-1548 is a star, making it astronomically large and far away from Earth. This sheer size and distance make it impossible to physically contain using any known or conceivable technology. Unlike most stars, SCP-1548 is described as being capable of moving through space at speeds exceeding light. This mobility makes it unpredictable and impossible to confine to a specific region of space. His star's ability to communicate and its apparent intelligence add another layer of complexity to any containment efforts. It's not just a physical entity, but also a sentient one, capable of strategizing. The SCP Foundation, despite its vast resources and advanced technology, is still fundamentally limited by the laws of physics as we understand them. Containing a star, especially a sentient and mobile one, is far beyond current technological capabilities. From a storytelling perspective, SCP-1548's uncontainability adds to the sense of danger and mystery that is central to the SCP universe. It serves as an example of an anomaly that the Foundation can monitor and study, but not fully control or contain, emphasizing the limits of their power. As SCP-1548 continues its slow journey towards Earth, it serves as a grim reminder of the vast, unexplored mysteries of the universe. It stands as a symbol of the SCP Foundation's constant vigilance against threats not just on Earth, but from the farthest reaches of the cosmos. In a world filled with inexplicable phenomena, SCP-1440, known as the Wanderer of Ages, stands as a testament to the tragic toll of immortality and fate. This story begins with an old man, clothed in tattered robes, wandering endlessly across continents and nations, a figure out of place in the modern world. SCP-1440, a seemingly ageless man, was once an ordinary human who won a game of cards against three mysterious brothers, believed to be powerful entities. The prize of this game was a wish, which he made without knowing the true nature of his opponents. The victory brought SCP-1440 more than he bargained for. The three brothers, angered by their defeat, cursed him with eternal life and a fate of perpetual loss and destruction. From that moment, SCP-1440 was doomed to wander the Earth endlessly, bringing misfortune and death to all he encountered. The SCP Foundation became aware of SCP-1440 through reports of a wandering old man, followed by unexplained disasters in his wake. Towns he passed through experienced calamities, people died in unexplained accidents, and even nature seemed to turn against itself. Efforts to contain SCP-1440 proved futile. Each attempt ended in catastrophe, with loss of life among the Foundation's personnel and collateral damage. It became clear that SCP-1440's curse was not only a personal burden, but a wide-reaching aura of destruction. SCP-1440's existence is one of solitude and sorrow. His immortality is not a gift, but a curse that isolates him from humanity. He is fully aware of the pain his presence causes and thus chooses a life of isolation, wandering the remote corners of the world to minimize the harm he brings. SCP-1440's story is a tragic one, a narrative about the cost of desires and the unintended consequences of actions. The Foundation continues to monitor his movements, keeping a safe distance, understanding that some anomalies cannot be contained or understood, only observed and respected. As he walks his endless path, SCP-1440 remains a somber reminder of the fragility of fate and the peril of tampering with forces beyond human understanding. His journey is one of perpetual exile, a lonely path that speaks to the heart of the human condition and the mysteries that lie beyond our grasp. Deep beneath the Bay of Bengal, where the sun's rays fail to penetrate, a team of SCP Foundation divers made an astonishing discovery. Amidst the dark, crushing depths, they encountered SCP-3000, an enormous serpentine creature lurking in the abyss. This gargantuan entity, resembling a colossal eel, stretched as far as the eye could see. Its skin was a glossy obsidian black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it, making it nearly invisible in the murky depths. SCP-3000 is not just a marvel of size. It possesses anomalous properties that defy the very fabric of nature. Those who gaze upon it or linger in its presence experience severe memory alterations and cognitive breakdowns. The Foundation quickly classified it as thaumiel, recognizing both its danger and potential utility. Its most unsettling feature is the secretion of a thick, black substance. later identified as Y909. This compound has the extraordinary ability to erase or alter memories, a property of immense interest to the Foundation. Containment of such a colossal being proved impossible in the traditional sense. Instead, the Foundation established an exclusion zone around SCP-3000, deploying submarines and remote-operated vehicles to monitor and study it. A specialized team, known as Task Force Y909, was assembled to collect samples of the creature's secretions. The process, both perilous and ethically controversial, was deemed necessary for the Foundation's memory-affecting technologies. The extraction of Y909 brought forth a moral quandary. The substance, while invaluable, came at the cost of the diver's sanity. Those exposed to SCP-3000's effects often returned with fragmented memories, their minds a jigsaw puzzle of real and imagined experiences. The Foundation faced a dilemma: the immense benefits of Y909 against the ethical cost of its collection. The decision to continue was not taken lightly, highlighting the Foundation's constant balance between safeguarding humanity and crossing moral boundaries. SCP-3000 remains an enigmatic titan of the deep. Its origins, purpose, and full capabilities are shrouded in mystery. It is a reminder of the vast, unexplored spaces of our world, where unknown horrors and wonders lie in wait. As the Foundation continues its watch over SCP-3000, the abyssal Leviathan slumbers in the deep, a sleeping giant of the ocean's darkest reaches, a creature as fascinating as it is terrifying. SCP-001. When Day Breaks presents an apocalyptic scenario where the sun suddenly becomes deadly. Written by the talented S.D. Locke, this proposal turns our life-giving star into a harbinger of doom. The moment sunlight touches living beings, the horror begins. In this universe, exposure to sunlight causes organic matter to melt and reshape into grotesque, amorphous forms. People, animals, even plants fuse together, losing their individuality and consciousness, becoming part of a horrific collective biomass. This SCP-001 proposal describes the phenomenon in chilling detail. It's not just about physical transformation, it's a complete loss of the self, as individuals become part of a larger, sentient entity. The SCP Foundation, in this scenario, is on high alert. With the outside world overrun by these anomalous entities, the Foundation's sites become sanctuaries for human survivors. The story unfolds through a series of logs and messages, painting a picture of desperation and survival. What sets When Day Breaks apart is its emotional depth. It's not just a tale of horror, but one of loss and longing. The transformed beings retain a semblance of their past selves, often trying to lure their loved ones into the sunlight, making the situation tragically personal. The narrative is further enriched by survivor stories. These accounts give us a glimpse into the post-apocalyptic world, where every ray of sunlight is a threat. We see the resilience of humanity, the struggle to maintain hope in a world that has fundamentally changed. In this story, a Foundation agent named Dr. Logan Igata recounts a personal experience. He's inside a secure Foundation facility, safe from the transformed world outside. Through a window, Dr. Igata observes a small group of people outside who have been affected by the anomalous sunlight. They have been transformed into a fused, amorphous mass of flesh and are continuously emitting a substance that looks like melted wax. Among this grotesque and writhing mass, Dr. Igata recognizes a figure that appears to be his wife, who had been transformed by the sunlight. In a moment of profound horror and sadness, he watches as this figure, which retains some of her recognizable features, approaches the window. The entity that was once his wife appears to be trying to communicate with him, gesturing and moving in a way that suggests a desperate longing to be reunited with him. Dr. Igota is torn between the safety of the facility and the heart-wrenching sight of his loved one in this monstrous form. The entity mimics a sign language that he and his wife shared, further intensifying his emotional turmoil. Despite his deep love and the pain of seeing his wife in this state, Dr. Igota resists the urge to open the window. He understands the danger and the irreversible nature of the transformation. This story exemplifies the personal tragedies faced by survivors in this SCP-001 scenario. It's not just the physical horror of the transformations caused by the sunlight, but the emotional and psychological torment of seeing loved ones turned into something unrecognizable, yet still hauntingly familiar. The narrative conveys the themes of loss, helplessness, and the endurance of human emotions, even in the most horrific circumstances. The impact of When Day Breaks on the broader SCP lore is significant. It challenges the Foundation's ability to secure, contain, protect. In a world where the very essence of life is corrupted, how does the Foundation adapt? This proposal adds a rich, dark layer to the SCP universe. Due to the vast area of infection SCP-610 covers, containment is impossible. Isolation of the area has proved far more effective, and permission has been granted by the Russian government to establish a perimeter to keep people out of these areas under the guise of military operations. Should any organism displaying traits consistent with SCP-610 be sighted near this perimeter, then the established protocol requires it be engaged at range with small arms until immobile, then dispatched using incendiary weapons and munitions from as great a distance as possible. Any living thing coming in physical contact with an organism infected with SCP-610 is considered expendable and is to be immediately terminated and incinerated. Any persons coming within 3 meters of SCP-610 infected life are to immediately withdraw from the area, be isolated from the rest of their team, and subjected to medical examination using only remote techniques to determine if infection has occurred and appropriate steps taken based on that determination. At present, the known infection vectors for SCP-610 spread seem to be focused on physical contact. Drone movements within heavily infected areas have returned air samples containing minute particulate, which when exposed to organic compounds will result in the spread of SCP-610. The results of these particular tests have revealed that most require several days to manifest, if at all, with the exception of direct contact with exposed lung and liver tissue. These particular tests show a rapid rate of growth, which requires incineration of the testing environment no more than 24 hours after initial exposure, with even a 2-hour mishap risking a compromised facility event. Given that this kind of rapid growth only occurs in organic material existing outside the human body, this form of infection is currently considered a minor concern. These peculiarities have given rise to a series of questions regarding the possible origin of the infection in conjunction with the failed data expunged. Containment protocol remains at a scorched earth policy at this time, and no concern for transmission via water or air at infection parameters exists barring situational changes in the field. Initial reports of SCP-610 came direct from the Russian government through undisclosable channels. These reports consisted primarily of disappearances of farmers in the region and were not considered until the local police, followed by the regional police, and finally a government-dispatched agent all failed to report in within a 72-hour period. A small military contingent was dispatched to the area and quickly withdrew, at which point the Foundation was contacted to investigate. The area SCP-610 affects is close to Lake Baikal in southern Siberia. Areas of known infection are marked on a map provided to us here. Containment perimeters are marked in blue surrounding these infection areas, and as of present, no further locations have been identified. Incursions into the perimeter must be reported prior to conducting, confirmed during exploration, and debriefed on immediately following return. SCP-610 appears to be a contagious skin disease at first, with symptoms including rash, itching, and increased skin sensitivity. Within 3 hours, the disease will cause blemishes resembling heavy scar tissue to form in the chest and arm areas, spreading to the legs and back within an additional hour, consuming the victim completely within 5 hours. Exposure to higher temperatures vastly decreases the time for the contagion to spread, and complete infections have been recorded occurring in as little as 5 minutes. After the completion of the infection occurs, the victim's life functions will cease for approximately 3 minutes, after which time they will restart at 2, 3 times the activity rate of a normal human. Following this, The scar tissue on the victims will start to move of its own accord and grow at a rapid rate. Normal human features start to disappear at this point under the infection, and the path of mutation appears to be largely random. Subjects observed in this stage of infection have been recorded as growing 3 or more limbs of a type such as arms or legs. The head may become misshapen and elongate or widen out, and parts of the subject may split open from which additional branches of flesh will grow. The duration of this stage of infection is unknown, and not all subjects appear to progress to the later stages. Will cease moving and place itself in a location it deems suitable where it roots itself. The fleshy growth on the victim will then begin to spread itself across all surrounding objects and consume them. Such objects do not spread the infection as living creatures do, however, and the effect of prolonged contact with these objects is recorded later in this document. It is assumed that this behavior is to create an area hospitable to continued growth of the other infected. Observation of life infected by SCP-610 by staff is impossible. Those infected with the disease immediately seek out aid as natural human impulse, resulting in unintended infections. Those infected past the scar tissue phase actively and aggressively attempt to infect anyone approaching them within an undefined area. It has been established that should an infected be capable of sight and observe an uninfected, it will proceed toward them. If the infected has lost the ability of sight, a range of approximately 30 meters is considered safe. Observation of SCP-610 infected settlements has been established using artificial methods such as remote robots. The data returned from these observations, coupled with the openly aggressive nature of the infected to attempt to spread SCP-610, has resulted in the Keter classification. However, so long as nothing is allowed to enter or leave the infected areas, it is considered a neutralized threat. Of concern are the cavernous areas beneath the infected settlements that were discovered during the exploration, and attempts to get research personnel into these areas are underway. Site-100 has been constructed specifically for the containment of SCP-2845 to the following specifications: a central chamber containing SCP-2845 and 216 instances of SCP-2845-1. Internal atmosphere is to consist of 96.3% hydrogen, 3.25% helium, and 0.45% ammonia, maintained at -110 degrees Celsius and a pressure of 2.3 bars. 9 concentric circular structures, designated Ring A through Ring I. 6 circular chambers are located on each ring at 0, 60, 120, 180, 240, and 300 degrees, with 0 degrees, are aligned with geographic north. The floor of each chamber is inlaid with an unobstructed lead hexagram. The following procedures are to be carried out in succession during each conjunction of the Earth and Saturn, recurring every 378 days according to the synodic period, and performed no more than 6 hours before or after true conjunction. Each procedure must be carried out by 6 individuals. The location of each procedure is denoted in parentheses. At the beginning of each period, containment procedures will be carried out in the next ring closest to the containment chamber, returning to Ring 1 upon cycle completion. Procedure 410, Cassini, 60 degrees. Containment specialists are presented with masks, joy, sadness, anger, apathy, fear, and foolishness, and act out Ceremony Cassini A. Ceremony Cassini A is a farcical comedy of errors and exchange of insults between the 6 individuals, culminating in foolishness outwitting the group in a game of riddles and declaring himself king. The conclusion of Ceremony Cassini A is followed by a game of dice. The winner of the game is irrelevant to the procedure. Procedure 420 Perinaldo, 120 degree. Performance of Holst. OP 32M, 5 for flute, oboe, clarinet, French horn, timpani, and bass drum. The piece is accompanied by specific somatic and vocal components carried out by the players throughout the performance. Designated Ceremony Perinaldo A. The performance must be live. Recordings of the piece have no effect. Procedure 430 Epimetheus, 180 degree. Gifts are exchanged among containment specialists. Content of gifts is irrelevant to the procedure, but each gift must not exceed 4.28 USD in worth. Each gift is accompanied by recitation of Ceremony Epimetheus A in its entirety and the scattering of grain around the containment chamber. Procedure 440 Cassiel, 240 degree. Ceremony Cassiel A is recited as containment specialists bind their feet with wool and consume 60 milliliters of olive oil. They then will break apart a rock weighing at least 20 kilograms with hammers. Ceremony Cassiel B is recited throughout. Procedure 450 Cairo, 300 degree. A D-class subject is prepared by painting a symbol, ring surrounding a dot with an arrow pointing upwards at the 90-degree point on the stomach with a platinum-based solution, and presented with a blue cloak, crown, and scepter. D-class subject is then restrained in a chair, and Ceremony Cairo A is recited. After recitation of the Ceremony Cairo A, the D-class subject is castrated by use of a hand sickle by a containment specialist. The testes are then to be disposed of in a bowl of salt water as Ceremony Cairo B is recited. Procedure 460 Omphalos, 0 degree. Ceremony. Omphalos A is to be recited before termination and roasting of an H-class subject no more than 3 months of age. Ceremony Omphalos B is to be recited before consumption. After consumption of the child, Ceremony Omphalos C is to be recited over a bowl of small gastroliths, which are then swallowed. Vomiting is then induced, and Ceremony Omphalos D is recited, ending containment procedures. In the case of containment breach, Site 100's nuclear device is to be detonated, followed by lockdown of all Foundation facilities and activation of Protocol 2845XK1, Strike Down the Moon. SCP-2845 is an extraterrestrial quadruped entity, measuring 2.9 meters in height at the shoulder. The neck, generally held in an upright position, extends a further 0.5 m, terminating in a head with humanoid facial features. SCP-2845 possesses antlers, measuring 4.8 meters across. Antlers are white with black marbling and coloration and have not been observed to shed. SCP-2845 is covered in hair with an average length of 10 centimeters, with the exception of the face, which is hairless. SCP-2845's coloration is primarily a pastel green, with a stripe of cream on the underside of the neck and belly. A ring of ice particles is suspended 15 centimeters behind SCP-2845's skull, measuring 1.7 m in diameter, with a ring thickness of 35 centimeters. This ring is interrupted at regular intervals by 7 spheres of metallic hydrogen and metallic helium, each measuring 15 centimeters in diameter. The ring and spheres rotate clockwise at a speed of 1.6 revolutions per minute, the force maintaining the movement of the ring, the physical state of the spheres, and the means by which SCP-2845 is capable of supporting its head under the weight of its antlers are unknown. SCP-2845 is capable of instantaneous transmutation and reconstruction of matter. No matter is created or destroyed during this process. Transmuted matter will remain stable regardless of external conditions. Phase changes will remain in their transmuted state regardless of outside temperature and pressure. Altered atmosphere will maintain chemical consistency and not mix with unaltered atmosphere outside the area of effect. Common transmutation results include structures of metallic hydrogen and helium. Structures do not appear to have any function or aesthetic direction, though they most commonly take organic or plant-like forms. Pools of liquid hydrogen and helium conversion of atmosphere into a hydrogen/helium/ammonia mix. SCP-2845 will typically surround itself with a transmuted area with a radius of approximately 5 meters. SCP-2845-1 instances. SCP-2845 will use directed transmutations against attackers or obstacles. Typically, these transmutations are a column measuring 5 to 7 meters in diameter and 60 to 80 meters in height, or a horizontal cone measuring between 100 and 150 meters in length and 10 to 30 meters in width at the furthest end. However, SCP-2845 has been observed to attack single targets at distances of up to 10 kilometers. Early observation of SCP-2845 during recovery indicated that it will generally ignore non-combatants, focusing on retaliation against attackers. However, SCP-2845 was not seen to make any attempts to spare non-combatants within the area of effect of its transmutations, and later recovery accounts indicate preemptive attacks against both military and civilian targets. SCP-2845-1 designates organisms that have been modified by SCP-2845. Instances of SCP-2845-1 are hexagonal columns uniformly measuring 2.4 meters in height, with rubbery yellow-green skin. SCP-2845-1 instances do not have any outward sense organs, and autopsy has shown that internal organs are likewise absent, save the brain, which now takes up the entirety of the column and contains the reconstituted mass of the other organs and some additional outside materials. It is unknown how SCP-2845-1 instances derive nutrients, or if any nutrition is required. Neuroimaging of SCP-2845-1 specimens has revealed that the brain is in a constant state of high activity. Analysis of multiple specimens indicates patterns of call and response, so some form of remote communication between SCP-2845-1 is presumed. Motal variants of SCP-2845-1 have been reported, but have evaded capture and study. Because of its size, SCP-169 cannot and almost certainly will never be contained. No structure on Earth is large enough or strong enough to contain SCP-169. The location of SCP-169 is not precisely known, but imaging satellites and analyses of eccentricities in the Earth's orbit suggest SCP-169 is located in the southern Atlantic Ocean, possibly stretching around the tip of South America. Description: SCP-169 is surmised to be a marine arthropod of enormous size, known as the Leviathan by generations of sailors and oral history. Presumed at first to be a myth, SCP-169 was detected on a redacted date by Mobile Task Force Gamma-6 during an investigation of paranormal activity around a redacted archipelago. A researcher at the Foundation discovered the archipelago to have moved at least 33 kilometers from its original location. Researchers estimate SCP-169's body length to be between 2,000 and 8,000 kilometers. The creature is thought to have existed since the Precambrian era. No other specimens have been cited. Almost nothing is known about SCP-169's habits, such as its reproductive capabilities, if any, food source, and nesting area, if any. Research regarding SCP-169 is pending approval. Who the archipelago has remained above sea level for several millennia, any change of depth by SCP-169 could result in the disappearance of the entire archipelago. SCP-169 moves slowly, less than 1 kilometer per week, but seems only to be adrift. Its method of propulsion is unknown. Regular seismic tremors seem to indicate breathing about every 3 months, causing minor shifts in the island's terrain, suggesting that the creature is probably dormant. The USS Redacted was scuttled with all hands immediately after the discovery of SCP-169 with the permission of the American government. The public is forbidden from entering the archipelago created by SCP-169 due to the conveniently large number of resident endangered bird species. As indicated above, satellite footage is to be doctored in order to suppress knowledge of SCP-169's movement. NASA is currently cooperating with the Foundation in keeping the existence of SCP-169 quiet. and is currently permitting the Foundation use of their satellites for photographic use. In 1990 redacted, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, an American scientific agency unaffiliated with and unaware of the existence of the Foundation, detected an ultra-low frequency underwater sound emanating from redacted coordinates, approximately redacted km from the southwestern coast of South America. Despite the best efforts of Embedded Agent Redacted, news of the sound leaked to the media, receiving significant media coverage. Foundation analysis concluded that a massive underwater organism was the source of the noise, and SCP-169 was hypothesized to be its source, as its head is well within the possible locations of the rest of SCP-169. The sound confirms G6, 0421's hypothesis that SCP-169 is gargantuan in size. Future efforts by scientific or civilian teams to determine the source of the noise must be stopped by any means necessary. And that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 hardest to contain SCPs. Thanks for joining us on this thrilling journey into the world of anomalies. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on all things SCP. We've got more mind-bending content coming your way.